Been a lot of talk in the last few days about back threes and back fours, and it's been on all forums, been on radio, it's been on podcasts. And a lot of people are saying, look, forget about a back four because he's not going to play one. And I personally agree with that. I don't think he's going to play one, although I do think we've got the scope to with the players he's brought in. We've heard it's only one game, which it is. Obviously one game, it takes time to gel, and you can get these upsets at the beginning of the season. I mean, for older viewers of this channel, some of you might remember Mickey Quinn scoring an hat-trick for Coventry against Arsenal on opening day of the season. You know, an Arsenal team that the season before had only conceded 18 goals all year. Because there'll be younger people watching this. Who's Mickey Quinn? Well, he would have overweight, fat centre forward who looked like Bob Carroll G's. You won't know Bob Carroll G's either. Well, he was a bloke who had a puppet that was a dog that used to spit. It doesn't sound very entertaining when they say it like that, but at the time. Anyway, the point is, upsets and funny things can happen on first day of the season. You can get these goal bonanzas like we had at Hillsborough, and it don't mean anything over the season as a whole. You know, Mickey Quinn scores that hat-trick against the best defence in entire league. Things can happen. But the debate has gone on because this thing about conceding goals goes into last season. And I'm talking to a couple of people about that, and we sort of come to a general agreement that we had to go to that 3-5-2 last season, because when we did, all our best results come after Christmas. That's when we played at our best. But I was looking at it in a bit more detail. I was going back through some of my old videos, looking at some old stats, and I think we're sort of getting a bit blindsided with that, actually. We did play our best stuff after Christmas, and we did have this 3-5-2. But looking back at it, I think that coincides more with the fact that Byers came into the team and got himself match fit after missing a lot of games. Luongo came back into the team. I've got to give Darren Moore credit because he went to the two up front to get us more goals. But if you look at the beginning of last season, you know, we talk about time to gel. We brought our players in early this season, probably a month earlier. Last season, we brought our players in like 9 days before the kick-off. I think it was like 14 players in 10 days or whatever it were. And yet, despite that, our results at the beginning of last season weren't bad. In fact, we started last season with a back four, and we only conceded 1 goal in the first 7 games. No, honestly, it sounds cobblers, doesn't it? But I've checked, and it's right. So last season, we started off with a League Cup game against Huddersfield. We go into that. Back four of Hunt, Iorfa, Hutchinson and Palmer. So 4 players who was already at club, straight in. 0-0. Okay, we went out on penalties with the Jordan Rhodes thing. I don't really want to mention him. But over 90 minutes against a team in division above, 0-0. We then go on to Charlton. Same back four, another clean sheet, 0-0. We then go on Doncaster Rovers. It's same back four again. Hunt, Iorfa, Hutchinson, Palmer. Win 2-0. Then Fleetwood, same back four again, sneak a 1-0 win. Then we play Rotherham, who are one of fancied teams, hardest runners in league. Again, come away, 2-0 win, and another clean sheet. We only really concede a goal for the first time against Morecambe. Hunt, Iorfa, Palmer has to come in at centre back, and it's the first time we see Johnson at left back. Even then, I've read back through the reports, we batter Morecambe, we've hit the post, we've hit the bar, and they've scored one on the sucker punch. But it's only really then, when we get injuries at the back to Hutchinson and Dunkley, that we have to start swapping back forward about. That is the first time we concede a goal. Back to Papa John's Trophy, Palmer, Iorfa, Brennan has to step in for this one, Johnson continues at the back. It's another clean sheet, obviously, albeit against a poorer opposition. But in the first 7 games, only 1 goal conceded. Only 1 goal conceded in 7 games. So why did we go to that 3 at the back? We all, in our collective, think about that fantastic run after Christmas, and we had 3-5-2 saved the season. But that was not to do with ditching a back four. That was not really to do with going to a back three, because we still conceded some crap goals, especially at set pieces. The move to the 3-5-2 was more to do with the fact we weren't doing anything up front. But that was not to do with the system. That was to do with the players we'd got, and we couldn't get the balance. And if you remember, we kept talking about Darren Moore tinkering with the side, and he was tinkering with the side because we weren't doing anything in that attacking third of the pitch. So here we go, looking at those first 7 games again, those 7 games where we only conceded 1 goal with that back four. We'll look at the attacking lineups. So the first one was a League Cup game, Huddersfield Town, and our front three, Andre Green. Remember him? Andre Green? What the hell? Green, Patterson, Shadipo, 0-0. Then in the league, Charlton, it's a different front three. Green on the right, Patterson down the middle still, and Jaden Brown down the left-hand side. It's the third game, Doncaster, before we scored ourselves, but we've still got another clean sheet. It's Green, Patterson, and this time Marvin Johnson on the left-hand side. We win 2-0 there with goals from Bannon and Adeniran, but again, that's goals from midfield. 3 games in, we ain't got a goal from our strike force. It's the 4th game, Fleetwood, when we eventually get a striker off the mark, and our front three is different once more. Adeniran plays on the right-hand side, Gregory in the middle, Johnson on the left, and Gregory gets on the score sheet. But again, the theme here is it's the forward line that weren't doing the business at the beginning of last season, not the defence or the back four. We then got to Rotherham. Fancied to go up as champions, Rotherham. One of the hardest running teams in the division, and we got a great result. We'd gone 4-4-2 for this game. We retained that back forward, as I've just seen shown in the other graphic. Front pairing of Patterson and Canberra, 2 big units to combat Rotherham's big lads at the back. And again, it's a 2-0 win, and it's 2 strikers on the score sheet, Canberra, and later Gregory comes on and scores. We then concede our first goal of the season, as I've already taught you through, away at Morecambe, a game when really we controlled the game totally, playing a 4-5-1. Again, it's that solid back four. We hit the post, we hit the bar, they hit us on the counter. But here's where things have started going south a little bit. Just one up front, Gregory up front on his own in that 1-0 defeat. Then back to the Papa John's Trophy, and it's a different forward line again. Corbino on the right, Canberra in the centre, and so on the left. So Johnson and Palmer on the score sheet. But again, it's the 2 fullbacks on the score sheet. Now Darren Moore tinkered with that side, so he played 3 up front, and he played 1 up front, and he played 2 up front. A lot of the time we played 3 up front, but it ended up being 1 up front though. And one of the reasons for that were players like Shadipo, even Corbino when he played, even though he was an exciting player, they didn't get involved in the way that they should do. If you're playing 4-3-3, those wide players have got to make the second strike, and especially when the ball's down the other side, the other wing. They just simply didn't do it. One of them would have it on the byline on this side, put a cross in, eventually. That's something else will come to. Gregory, Patterson, whoever, they were in the box on their own. Green, Shadipo, Corbino, Berahino played wide, even Adeniran had to plant right wing at one bit. Brown, they didn't get in and support the striker. It's only a valuable system playing the 3 up front if they get in and support. I mean, just for example, say we've gone with the front 3 of Shadipo, Gregory and Corbino. Corbino gets the ball on the right hand side, he's looking up, he's going to put a delivery into the box. Shadipo's on that far side of the pitch. He has got to get in there and make the second striker with Gregory. He's got to get in there. What he can't do is leave him in there on his own and face a 2v1 against their towering centre halves, which there are plenty of in this division, by the way. And this happened week after week after week. We'd keep it tight at the back, we'd get a clean sheet, but in our attacking third, our wide players just weren't getting involved. 3 up front works brilliantly if those wide players get involved, and they weren't. I mean, it's not all about that wide player getting in the box and making the second striker. The other thing is they can put a better bloody delivery in as well. I mean, the other thing is dawdling on ball. Gregory would make a run, Patterson or whoever. Winger's got ball, he'd give it and then chop back inside. But every time they come back inside, defence pushes out, striker's made a fantastic run. Oh, and now he's offside, so he's going to jog back out to edge of box, wait for him to put crossing, and then make a run again, by which time all defenders are back. Corbyn over another one. Brilliant. Beat a man, great. Now put crossing. No, he'd beat a man, wait for him to get up, then try and go other way. Centre forward just to the box, just put fucking ball in, give me something to fucking attack. In, out, just cross the ball. There were a lot of that. Could see the frustration. And like I said, that and the fact that when the ball was on the other wing, they didn't come in and support him at second striker, and it was all of them, Sharipo, Corbyn, Green, it happened all the beginning of last season. Darren Moore, to his credit, he's got done for tinkering, but he was tinkering, trying to find a balance, and players who would do that, players who could put a ball in, players who would get up and support Gregory. Didn't happen. And in the end, and you've got to give the manager credit here, by the way, I know he takes a lot of stick for his tinkering and whatever, and he's taking some stick for 3-5-2. I'm not doing that here, I'm just explaining why I think he went to it. And he likes that system, he wants to play that system, it's working well at the back, but he's getting no support for his strikers. We're not scoring enough goals. I mean, we were really, really poor in front of goal the beginning half of last season. And if you want to get promoted, you've got to win games. To win games, you've got to score goals. So, he's looked at it. These players aren't getting involved. Gregory's looking isolated. What are you going to do? So he says, right, let's go old-fashioned. Can't get through up front working. It's ending up as one up front. So let's go old-fashioned, 2 up front. So it's put Gregory up there with an old-fashioned strike partner. Now, alternatively, it'd been Camberi, it'd have been Berahino, sometimes it'd been Patterson. It worked. Suddenly, he's got somebody working around him all the time. When the crosses are coming in, there's confusion in there, there's little pockets of space to attack, there's them little 1-2s that he can play. And suddenly, Gregory looks a better player, Wednesday look a better side, and we look like a team that's going to score goals. Fantastic. But he has to ditch the back four to go with the 2 up front, because if he plays a 4-4-2, what's he going to do in the centre of midfield? Can he play Bannon in a 2-man centre midfield? Well, he can, but we all know what's going to happen. If you play Bannon in a 2-man midfield, firstly we're going to be outnumbered, because most teams in this division will play a 4-3-3 or a 3-5-2, whatever. There's always going to be 3 in the middle, so we're going to be outnumbered in there. That's the first thing. Secondly, Bannon is always going to drop off. When you're outnumbered in midfield, someone's going to have to drop off and receive the ball from the centre halves, because if it gets pinged in there, there's always going to be 2 men around you buzzing. Whichever one of the midfielders is receiving the pass, there's going to be 2 in there buzzing. So it's always Bannon dropping off. I'll have the ball. Then when he turns, might have 1 player ahead of him, a Denerin, and 2 sitting midfielders for opposition. So Darren Moore's looked at that, he's like, right, I've got to play 2 up front because my centre forward's getting totally isolated. I've got to play 3 in the middle to get the best out of my skipper. Well, it's basic numbers. You know, you add it up, 2 up front, it's got to have 3 at centre in midfield. So already that's 5 there. 4 at back, you can't do it. So it has to be 3 with a wide place. That's why we ended up with 3 at the back. Not to do we were defending badly, because we defended much, much better with a back 4. And I tell you, every single player in this country has played in a back 4. Every defender that has played in this country has played in a back 4. They all know what they're doing. And the other thing with a back 4, it doesn't matter if you're playing it zonal, doesn't matter if you're playing it man for man. It's simpler. Because if you're playing it zonal, you've got smaller zones to deal with as a unit all the way across, and as an individual. You've always got somebody on the inside of you or in front of you. It's all there. Man to man, full back, mark a winger. Centre back, mark a centre forward. If they're playing 1 up and 1 off, one of you marks the man and the other one's ready to go and engage if the attacking midfielder comes through. Everyone knows what they're doing. But he had to get rid of that. He had to, because we weren't scoring enough goals, so our wide players couldn't support Gregory. So why am I talking about last bloody season? Why am I banging on about back 4s and back 3s and whatever? Because we all know we're probably going to carry on with a 3 at the back this season. Well, I'll tell you why. Because I think we can go a back 4 this season if we need to. And, as well as helping keep clean sheets, because everybody will know what they're doing, I still think we can score goals. And the reason I think we can score goals is We've got a quality midfield, attacking midfield, Bannon, Delabishedu, Adeniran, Byers, Backinson, Volks, all players who can attack. And our front players, I think we've got front players who can support Lee Gregory this season, who can support Smith. In fact, Johnson, I think he would be far better suited an extra 15 yards up the pitch without constantly having to look over his shoulder or who's behind me. Focus on what you're good at, getting forward, getting good delivery into the box. And I'll tell you what, now we've got Windass back, I'll tell you, if Marvin Johnson playing up left of the front three and he's putting a cross in the box, Gregory's not going to be isolated like he were when Shadipo and Corbin and them were putting crosses in. No, because Windass will be coming round the back and getting involved, guaranteed. Guaranteed. I'll look at this team. This is a genuine team that we put out last season. Now we kept the clean sheet because we've got a solid back four. Hunt, Iorfa, Hutchinson, Palmer. They all know what they're doing. They've all played that position for most of their careers. They know what they're doing. But look at the midfield. The midfield's milky in there. Wing, Brown in there, not comfortable. Green and Shadipo right out there, not getting involved. And Gregory totally isolated. Clean sheets for fun that side, but they were never going to score goals, were they? The balance wasn't right. It was never right. Darren Moore was tinkering with it. He was like, he knew it weren't right. We knew it weren't right. And in the end, the back four had to go to try and give us more going forward. To get Gregory amongst the goals, to get the team amongst the goals, because goals win games, you know. Clean sheets are brilliant. You've always got a point if you've got a clean sheet, haven't you? But weren't scoring enough goals. Then we were. But that team, but I talk about going back to it now, and people are like, no, we may as well stick with what we've got. We may as well stick with 3-5-2. But I'll tell you what, you play that system with the players we've got now, I think you can have the best of both worlds. I really think you can. Because I think you can have a solid back four and keep clean sheets, and I think you can have that midfield and the attack that are going to score goals. I mean, for example, what about this? Stockdale at net, back four, Hunt, Hannigan, Ahekwe, James. That is a solid back four. Everybody in that back four knows what they're doing, and I guarantee they would start keeping clean sheets. There's no confusion when you've got two centre halves. They're not getting pulled out into full back positions. Hannigan got pulled out on Saturday. He's a brilliant centre half for heading it, kicking it, clearing it, man marking. When he's getting dragged out and crosses are coming in, he's not where he should be. He should be on penalty spot, knotting things away. He can do that in a back four. Byers, Bannon, Delabishedu, fantastic attacking midfield, cause anybody problems. And look up front, you've got Smith, a 20-goal target man. Johnson freed up from his defensive shackles. Windass up there, getting in pockets of space. I mean, he don't think he's a centre forward anyway. That front three, they cause anybody problems. That team would cause anybody problems. Honestly, I think that's it. I think that is have your cake and eat it, lining up like that. I think you get the best of both worlds. I think you keep it tight at the back. You've got defenders who know what they're doing. You've got full-backs stopping crosses going. If crosses do get in, you've got people in there who are in there where they're meant to be and know what they're doing. You've got an attacking midfield that can move the ball quickly. And up front, you've got people who can cross. You've got people who can regularly score goals. It's a win every which way up, honestly. If I tell you what, let's do the flashpoint paradox here. If you put that side against the side that played on Saturday, I think that side wins. I know it's the same players, but we're cloning them. How could one man with all the same skills beat the same man? But he could. Systems. I honestly believe the side on the left, even though it's got the same players in it, beats the side on the right. I really do. Because it's a 4-3-3, we've got the controller set in midfield, we've got the three up front, we've got a solid back four, and with the 4-3-3 as well, Windass and Johnson, if need be, if we're under the cosh, can drop back in there and make that a 5. We can match them up all the way across, and we can really stretch that back line. Windass and Johnson, it is. That is the best of both worlds, I'm telling you now. Darren Moore needs credit for doing what he did last season to get us amongst the goals. We weren't scoring enough. I think he did the right thing changing to 3-5-2. I think he's going to stick with it this season. I do. And I think we'll be thereabouts using that system because we've got some good players. We really have. And we played some terrific attacking football on Saturday. That said, we've got a squad capable of being flexible, doing different things, and if we need to tighten up, which judging by the first game we might do, I know it's only a one-off, going back to Bob Carroll G's and Spit the Dog, so hopefully we do improve on that. If after the month we're still conceding shit goals like that, I'd definitely go back to a 4, definitely. And with the players he's brought in, I think we can do, without losing our goal threat. It's half 3 in the morning, you know me, I'm not wired up honestly. Let me know what you think anyway. I like a back 4 me. One more thing I know. I turned Radio Sheffield on, I'm reading online, I'm on forums, everything else. People keep saying, we've got to sign another winger, we've got to sign another winger. I'll tell you what, there's no point signing another fucking winger if we're playing 3-5-2, is there? Because play wingers in a 3-5-2, we're just going to get caught out till bleeding season. We sign a winger, 4-3-3. Otherwise, may as well sign 2 new fullbacks. Sign a winger and play him where? In a team that don't play wingers. Go on, Bennett.